Hey guys, and welcome to our review for Jojo Rabbit, directed by Taika Waititi, starring Roman Griffin Davis as Jojo. Taika Waititi himself as well, Scarlett Johansson, Sam Rockwell, Thomasin McKenzie, Stephen Merchant, Alfie Allen, among others. My name is Scott Ellis. I'm joined here by Tim McGavick,
Jojo.
Jojo, also Phil Clark.
I realized how much I like saying Taika Waititi.
Waititi.
Yes,
It's a fun
very
name.
satisfying.
Fun.
Also, Adam Franey's joining us.
I'm back. If you're wondering what's on my face, it's my face.
It's nothing.
It's been hidden for a year, but happy Movember.
Mm.
Yeah.
Tim, can you give us a little synopsis? That's enough, Adam.
Sorry.
Give us a little synopsis of Jojo Rabbit for the viewers.
Yeah. Jojo, a young and eager member of a Hitler youth camp, has his beliefs shaken when he discovers his mother is a Jewish sympathizer. Just leave it at that.
Yes.
That is what
Yes,
happens.
indeed.
In the film.
Those are the major plot points.
You have condensed the plot.
Jojo Rabbit,
Succinct.
very controversial,
It is.
some
Ooh.
might say.
Indeed.
Controversial.
Adam, let's start with you.
Uh-oh.
What are your general thoughts about
Jojo.
Jojo Rabbit?
My general thoughts,
Yeah.
eh?
Yes. This did win People's Choice Award at TIFF.
Yes.
You did.
Good.
Rules.
Excellent. Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
I do understand you to be a fan of Taika Waititi's work. Is that correct?
Didn't know where you're going with that. Yeah, I am a fan of Taika Waititi's work. A very big fan at that. Hunt for the Wilder People. I love What We Do in the Shadows. I love
Legendary.
Thor Ragnarok is good.
Yep, it's good.
Well, I'm a fan. I'm actually not crazy about Thor Ragnarok. I'm like the minority on that. But JoJo, as you said, Tim, very controversial. Somebody said Scott.
Scott said.
Whatever. You're
I
both
said
the
nothing.
same to me.
Nothing to say is important.
Yes, I know. I love this movie. I will say that to the world, if you're listening, and I'm not
Love.
scared to say it.
Love.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I loved it. I will start by saying I was quite put off at first. I was like very shocked, and because going into it, I heard all the controversies, and I was like, these guys don't know. These guys are stupid. Whoever's writing this shit is stupid. Taika is a genius. This movie is going to be great. It won the People's Choice at TIFF. Everybody loved it.
It's gotta be.
It's gotta be
done so well.
It's just there's no way the Nazi stuff is gonna bother me. And then immediately when JoJo is saluting the mirror and Hitler appears all within like the first minute, I'm like, ooh, this
They're
doesn't.
just going right for the jugular.
Yeah. I was like, this doesn't feel right. This feeling inside, it's like I feel a little sick, you know? And like the Beatles Want to Hold Your Hand.
Yeah.
It was like Hitler Mania. It was like, woo! Taika, you are coming for the jugular.
Yeah, it was a bit aggressive. At
But
first.
like JoJo himself, my arms uncrossed, my heart opened, and I fell in love. Scott, Tim, and Phil, and Switty if you're out there. I thought it looked beautiful. It was a color explosion.
Mm-hmm.
Many a color to be had.
Yes.
I thought
Lots of red.
Lots of red.
lots of red. Let you imagine how that was used. I thought JoJo, the actor, I blanking on his name.
Roman Griffin Davis.
Amazing. Scarlett Johansson was amazing. Sam Rockwell was amazing. Every actor in the movie was amazing.
Oh,
Yeah, I just fell in love with every character, and like I had a lot of mixed feelings on JoJo himself, but I think Taika redeemed him, obviously. I mean, spoiler free, but yeah, it was like in the way that Tarantino did a revenge fantasy with Inglourious Bastards. I feel like this is like a love fantasy, and like what if you tackled this from the opposite angle, and it's about like loss of innocence and redemption, and all these themes that just spoke to me and just touched me, and I thought it was an amazing film. And I'm utterly repulsed by the 55 Metacritic score.
Jeez,
That's low.
that is
Yes.
wild.
Yes.
Well, Tim, let's jump over to you.
Mm.
How did you feel about Jojo Rabbit?
I believe you guys remember me saying this was a preemptive 5-bang
Yes.
a few months ago.
I remember you being very nervous
I was nervous about that.
that it may not be.
It's not quite a 5.
Oh!
Put it there.
But
I did really enjoy it though.
thank you.
I thought it was quite funny,
Yeah, hilarious.
extremely touching, quite dark. Something happened that I was not expecting
Same.
and made me very
I know what you
upset.
mean. Yes.
Oh, get the tissue.
Cast was all great. Kid's great. The other kid is great. Thomas McGinty.
Archie Yates.
I think
Archie
it's
is
a
also
chubby
great.
kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's hilarious.
Thomas Mackenzie.
I think it's funny that Sam Rockwell has again played a pretty controversial character. If you remember, 3 Billboards, played a horribly racist but likable person.
Academy Award winning.
Plays a Nazi captain, but quite likable in this
Yes, very
movie. I
likable.
will say.
He keeps flexing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you think you don't like me?
Yeah.
How about you do like
How
me?
about you like
And I think it's something that Taika I think did deliberately, where he's showing that like not every single Nazi was like Hitler lover of Nazi. Like you had a lot of guys that were just caught up in it. Like young Jojo, he's like a little like 10-year-old.
Mhm.
That's just how he's been raised.
Doesn't know
But
any different.
he's super likable. He doesn't know any different. Sam Rockwell obviously is disillusioned clearly by the first like bit that you see. He's like disillusioned by a whole bunch of stuff, and then more so you see what happens with him at the end. And then yeah, he just humanized a few characters, which was interesting. I thought his Adolf was hilarious because he's a very like obviously just like super goofy guy, but then you get a few bursts of anger that he has that felt very like Hitler-ish. And I was like, holy shit, he's actually like
He's Hitler.
he's Hitler. He's like getting the voice and like the rhythm of his voice going. I'm like, holy shit, this is terrifying. Yeah, it's really good. It's just yeah, it got. I expecting it to get dark because beasts or not beasts. Hunt for the Wilder People. Thank you. I was thinking Beasts of the Southern Wild. Hunt for the Wilder People gets dark pretty quickly actually. This one takes more time, but it does hit hard. I will say.
Yeah.
It's quite good. Quite beautiful looking as well.
Thank you.
The war scene in particular is fantastic. I would like
Yeah.
to see Taiki do like a full war movie because it was some of the practical explosions were like there's like mortars going off with like just like stuff exploding background. I'm like, holy shit, this looks great.
Mm-hmm.
Such great filmmaking.
Costumes. Sam Rockwell. Anyone?
Sam Rockwell's
Beautiful.
spoiled costume is hilarious. Yeah.
Beautiful man.
The trailer. Phil, let's jump over to you.
Taste
What are your thoughts about Jojo Rabbit?
I don't think I liked it as much as either of these guys.
You
but
son
I
of a
still
bitch.
The fuck
really
yeah.
liked it. It was funny. It was touching, like you guys said. Most of the performances I thought were fantastic. I thought
Mm.
Scarlett
Mm-hmm.
kind of sounded French at points to me. I don't know if that was anybody else. It's just to me.
The accents in
was
overall
kinda-
were off.
Yeah.
Total.
The accents were a little.
I kept seeing
this-
Scarlett.
Like
think
Roman
she
Griffin
was
Davis is
French.
British. I'm pretty
I don't
sure.
know.
I think he's a British kid, and he didn't.
He sounds
try to
Just did
hide
a
it.
British
Yeah.
accent.
I think Taika mentioned like the lack of respect for the Nazis that he wanted to portray.
Yeah.
He's
Right.
like, I'm gonna shittily do a German accent and purposely not look like Hitler
Yeah.
as a fuck you to Hitler because that would enrage him. So like, I bought it on that level.
I
But-
thought I thought he was really good as Hitler. To be honest, I
He loved
think
Hitler, yeah.
he was still himself in that sense that like he did some stuff that was just hilarious and just
Yeah.
bad shit that you were like, what the like? I remember thinking the first like 5 minutes of the movie, what the fuck am I gonna be watching in like an hour? Like this is crazy. How do you start like this? It was just
Yeah.
it was insane. But I also thought that Tim talked about it when he got like angry. I was wondering if like he kind of took that speech like from something Hitler had actually said. Like I
I
didn't
wouldn't be
know
surprised. Yeah.
because
Might
it
have
sounded very like it was very
It sounded directly
angry and
lifted.
passionate, but
Yeah.
it was like holy shit. Like I
Yeah.
can see why people say like, oh, he was a great speaker. It's like yeah, that would rile a crowd up if you were
Yeah.
talking like that.
Yes.
I thought it did get dark, which I liked. I
Got dark.
there was a shot after it got dark of like houses and like the roofs,
Mhm.
and I was just like pure nut. Like it was unbelievable. I love that.
Cinematic.
everywhere?
I just don't know
Roofs.
if I just yeah. I just
Yeah,
don't know
yes,
if the
eyes.
yeah the
The house eyes, right?
which was like a great
Right.
like double kind of a double thing where it's like the houses are watching, but also like the people in those attics in those spaces are also seeing this. Like just like the girl in
Didn't
the
think
attic
about
is
that.
like watching all this unfold and hearing it from the outside. It's like also I really like that. I thought that was fantastic. I just didn't. I don't know. I don't think.
Yeah, why'd you hate it?
I just don't know if like it
Why is it
landed
your
as
movie
much.
of the year?
Yeah, obviously it's a 0.
You don't like
I
how
don't-
they disrespect the
I thought it
Nazis?
was funny at points, but I didn't think it was like hilarious all the time. I didn't. I
Mm.
thought it was touching, but I didn't think it like. I wasn't like, oh my god. I was like, oh, like that's sad. Like I just don't think it did all those things. I just don't think it did them as much for me as it did for you guys. That's my only thing on it.
It's fair. It's fair. It's fair.
Right on. I'll jump in. I feel like I'm somewhere between you guys. Like I didn't love it. Like it's not a 5, but I definitely enjoyed it. I thought everyone was great. Yeah, ScarJo's accent wasn't great.
That was the only one that I was like, this is kind of
Um,
iffy on. Everyone else I felt was
There was one scene
really
with
good.
her and Jojo that I didn't love, where she like, you know what I mean? That scene.
Yeah, that seems
I
weird.
didn't love that scene. Not gonna lie.
that felt very bizarre.
It was very weird. That being said, I loved all the supporting cast. Thomasin McKenzie's great. She's like a breakout star like this year. I feel like coming off of Leave No Trace last year, 2
Yeah.
years ago.
Last-
Shit, yeah, she's
Um,
no trace.
As well, I thought Rebel Wilson was hilarious.
Yeah, dude, her Rebel Wilson thing.
I thought
Yeah.
I thought all of
She
her
was really
gags
good.
were just so funny.
Yeah.
She was.
I was loving it.
She was
Um,
absurd.
Stephen Merchant's
Oh my
bit
God.
was so
His
funny.
scene was ridiculous.
His scene was so good.
He was great.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, just everyone there. Alfie Allen was pretty jokes as kind of a bit character as well, tying in with Sam Rockwell's character, which I thought he was so great, especially like with his like last scene. I don't know. He has a way of sort of turning it from some kind of like caricature thing into like really touching moments.
Yeah.
And he's just so good at that. And there's a scene where, I guess the Stephen Merchant scene, where
Yes.
Sam Rockwell in that scene. I don't know. It's just so good.
He was such a good actor.
It's just so good, so subtle, right? I don't know.
The reveal about that
So much
scene.
acting, you know.
Oh.
Much acting in that scene. The kid was great. He's got a future ahead of him.
Yeah, I really liked him.
Oh yeah, he was really good.
But all that being said, I don't know, it just didn't hit as hard. It's like the laughs, I wasn't like crying out loud laughing. You know, it was slightly humorous, you know.
The
There was some
beginning
funny
was
moments.
dying.
But I wasn't like, it wasn't side splitting in the aisles kind of thing. And yeah, there is a very sort of sad moment abruptly in like 2/3 into the way of the movie, but it didn't, it was sad, but it didn't hit me that hard. Maybe it was just the way the character reacted. I don't know, the way they played that scene off. It wasn't like that emotional. Like there was emotion there, but it wasn't like as hard hitting, maybe as it could have been. But yeah, I don't know. I think definitely in the beginning, it was off putting. I think that was one thing for me.
Am I alone in that?
I was like, how do I was like, took a while to for me to warm up to the sort of angle of the humor, right?
Yeah.
Because at the start it's like, whoa, okay, like whoa, like pump the brakes, like this is a little much.
I thought we were gonna
Right.
go full throttle into that, and I was like, I'm ready for that if that's what we're gonna do, because Taika can just do crazy
Just
stuff.
at some points, it was such borderline offensive,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, he flirted.
The only
with
thing
the
that
border.
makes it not so much offensive in my mind is because Taika Waititi is Jewish,
Right.
and he wrote and directed it. So obviously he's like tackling.
It's coming from that angle.
It's coming from the angle of being like, hey, this is like,
This
the
is how
Nazis were
ridiculous.
ridiculous, and this is how ridiculous it was. Let me show you how ridiculous it was.
Yeah.
And I totally get that,
Satire.
but it's
At the
still
same time,
felt.
you're kind of like, oh shit.
No,
I still
yeah.
felt that cringe,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh
where
yeah,
I'm like,
absolutely.
that's, ooh.
I still think he did a really good job of like showing both sides that like, yeah, these guys were bad and like not good people, but they're not like, it's not like you can just say, oh, all Nazis are bad. Everybody who is a Nazi is terrible, evil, malicious. He kind of did walk that line and be like, not everybody here is evil, like you mentioned
Yeah.
earlier,
Yeah,
which I
like,
thought was
like
really
ScarJo's character and Sam Rockwell. And
great. Yeah.
Yeah, because ScarJo's not Nazi. She's
She's
just
German.
living in
Yeah,
Germany.
but she's not.
Sam Rockwell is a
German.
Nazi, but there's something
Disillusioned.
about his personality that would have got him killed, I think,
Mm.
that they alluded to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's definitely layered. It's very interesting.
You can relate.
Well, let's give her ratings and we can get some spoiler talk. I'm gonna start off. I'm gonna go heavy 3.
Ooh. I'm gonna go 4.
Mm.
Mm.
I'm gonna go heavy 3. I also agree.
I'm gonna go the highest, heavy 4.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
Damn.
Love is
Grolsch peoples were right.
Grolsch.
IMO.
So Adam, do you
I
think
love it. I love
won the
Nazis.
Grolsch People's Choice Award at TIFF?
I'm with you so far. Yes.
Best Picture nominee.
Oh!
I mean, Green Book won last year, won Best Picture, right? So what are your thoughts on that?
Year before that was Shape of Water, right?
Yep.
1-1.
I believe it's 11 in a row.
That we've been nominated, right?
At least
Yes.
nominated.
Yeah, nominated, not one.
So do you feel, with that all that being said,
Yes, I think it's going to be nominated for Best Picture. I think if Green Book has taught us anything,
That anything's possible.
that
even with those like critic score and everything, like how it's like sitting at 79% RT.
That's not bad for Rotten Tomatoes.
It's okay, but it was that
55
Metacritic.
Metacritic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
interesting, right?
it's. I think people often forget like it's an industry voted award. It's not like people voting for this thing.
Right.
And I think that the Academy is very like aware of the Grolsch streak and everything. So this movie is immediately going to be on their radar.
Right.
Taika's a super likable, charismatic guy. Like every director's been tweeting about this movie, saying it's really good. Like he always has like a community of directors. So I think, yeah, ScarJo's like the biggest actress on earth. So I think they're gonna, like the movie being
That's
good
a
or
good
bad
shot.
aside, I think all the star power is gonna leverage their relationships and like yeah.
It has a good shot for sure.
Yeah.
I think so.
It's interesting.
It is
Wow.
interesting because it's like super edgy, I would say. Because it's just like you are following Nazis. Like Sam Rockwell is teaching kids how to
The
kill
protagonist
Jewish people.
is a Nazi youth.
And just like Die Hard, like one is all about it, like, right?
Oh, he's full into it.
He's like striving to like impress Hitler.
Yeah.
He has an imaginary idol who is Hitler. Like that's a crazy ballsy
Premise.
thing.
Well, is there anything spoilery you guys want to talk about?
I guess that we can talk about that hard hitting moment.
Yeah.
Two thirds way through.
I can't believe you guys were very sort of like,
Yeah.
did I say underwhelmed?
I don't.
That was
Scarlett
me. That was
Johansson?
me. I
Are we
think that
talking
was
about
just
Scarlett
me that was
Johansson?
saying that.
Obviously.
I agree with Scott. It wasn't like that hard hitting where I was like, ugh, like I was like, oh, it's
It was shocking for sure.
yeah.
Tim?
I was quite sad.
Yeah, I was gutted.
I love their relationship, and then we find out that she's been hung for presumably hiding or doing something. They're not
Something.
something.
I don't think it was for hiding.
No, I think they caught her with
Thomason
passing
Mackenzie.
messages or whatever.
Yeah, the
Um,
yeah.
But she's hung, and we don't actually see her hanging. We just see like her shoes hanging in frame,
I was gonna say the way it was
which
shot.
they focus so many times on her shoes and her
Yeah.
dancing.
I thought that was set up really well. I
Yeah,
will
I
and
say.
he just looks up and he sees her shoes, and like you realize at the same time that he realizes that his mom's hanging there. I'm like, oh fuck, and he tries doing up her shoe and he can't. I'm like, oh my god.
When you tried to do the shoe up,
Jojo.
oh my god, very life
Mhm.
is beautiful of Taika, like this movie in general.
I think it would have been sadder if he could just like immediately do the shoe up.
Mm.
I think I kind of lost a little. Like I wish.
I thought that's what was
I
gonna
thought
happen.
that was the
Right,
moment
I
where
thought
he
so
was
too.
gonna like tie the shoe,
Right.
and then when it happened later in the movie, I was like, I don't care now. You kind of I
He was
lost that.
doing what he could. He couldn't tie the shoe, but god damn it, he tried.
Yeah.
It wasn't good enough. Yeah, I feel like Taika has evolved with this movie, and from like funny Kiwi crazy guy to like filmmaker Taika. Like this just felt
Mm.
the screenplay and the direction of it was just so tight to me. Like even the building suspense, like the Stephen Merchant scene.
Yeah,
I
even though
was,
it's
like,
played for comedy,
sweating.
it's very
laughing
tense.
yet sweating.
Yeah.
And then that when Scarlett Johansson is killed, I was like, oh my god, like this is open a can of worms, right?
Right.
Like holy shit. And then I guess we can talk about when the US gets there and everyone's closing in around them. I was like, are they gonna kill Jojo? Like what is gonna happen here? Like this is fucking chaos. I think Taika like flexed so many chops. Like you were saying, the action sequence
Yeah,
was
it's incredible.
pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And obviously the comedy and the performances, just everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's definitely has this great potential. I mean, obviously
Yeah.
he went from doing these smaller films to then doing a big Marvel, movie, which kind of
Right.
shows that he can do these different things. And then doing this, which straddles that line of comedy and drama and kind of satire and kind of
Satire.
on that controversial, tone, right? So yeah, I think he's just showing that he can do anything, right?
I'm sure Ragnarok got this movie made. I'm sure it wasn't an easy conversation to pitch. Can you imagine pitching this? Imagine a pitch meeting with this.
Yeah.
Crazy. It is based on a book that
Oh, it
came
is?
out about 15 years ago. We just found this out
Yeah.
What?
before this recording.
Okay.
But yeah, so
I
it's,
didn't know that.
so he must have read it and obviously loved it.
Right.
But it's still a very controversial pitch.
Of cource.
A
Yeah.
very tough pitch.
I'm sure they were leaping at the chance to make this book into a movie. Like it would take a Taika to.
A
To
certain
suggest it.
yeah,
It
the right
was-
person.
It was Fox Searchlight, right?
Yes.
So that's got that Disney Fox thing where it was easier to I want to do a
He's
movie.
like, hey, you
about-
guys want me to do Thor 4?
Right.
I'm gonna do
Surprising
Jojo
that
Rabbit.
Disney
Yeah.
was okay with this, because it's
Edgy.
literally Nazis. It's
Yeah.
a weird. It's interesting Disney's relationship with Nazis.
Yeah.
And can we talk about Sam Rockwell's scene where he
Mm.
saves Jojo?
Amazing.
Twice. Sees him twice.
Twice.
What do you mean?
He
what?
saves the
The
girl.
first scene was the birthday.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
With Thomason McKenzie.
Where she
Which-
gets it wrong in front of the
Yeah.
Gestapo officers
Oh,
for the
which-
people.
Sam knew as well, because as soon as he looked at the picture, it's clearly not her, and he's
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
all right, I don't know what's going on here. But he
And-
just goes along with it.
Rockwell's acting in that moment is so good when Steve Merchant asks to see the papers,
Mm.
or when he says, "What's this?" I think, and he's like,
He's like, all right, I got to step in here.
"Yeah." Oh,
It was so good.
Yeah.
And then that last scene when they get arrested, and I'm not sure if it's the Russians that were executing Germans at that point,
yeah, because his
or was it
friend.
the Americans? Because the Americans and the Russians, basically pincer movement Berlin in that moment in history. So I'm not sure what side it was, but they were basically rounding up and shooting all the Nazis.
Mhm.
And Sam Rockwell sort of takes off Jojo's jacket and pushes him away, and sort of saves Jojo in that moment while
Yes.
sacrificing himself. I mean, he was going to die anyways. but,
Immediately gunned down
yeah,
after. Oh
but
my
I thought
god.
that was also a great moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
He was just a really interesting character, because he's clearly homosexual,
Yeah.
which would have been frowned upon if anyone in the Nazi Party actually would have found out.
Needless to say.
So it's just interesting that, I don't know, it just added a layer to his character. I'm like,
Yeah, I didn't
Sam
expect
Rockwell's
that.
rocking this.
That was
Acting,
one of
'cause-
my favorite moments with him, where they're him and I forget the actor's name. The guy
Alfie?
played
Alfie Allen.
Alfie
Alfie
Allen, or
Allen, this
right,
movie?
and then they're like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
And he's feeding him at one point.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
they come in. He's like, "What? What's going on? What are you doing in here?"
it was funny.
it was
I
great.
like that a lot.
Just brilliant.
Cool.
Wow.
Well,
That's it.
I think
That's it.
that'll do it for our review of
That's a
Jojo
wrap.
Rabbit. Check it out in theaters. Tim, where can people find you?
People can find me on Letterboxd at UpRealTim, also on Instagram at The Craft Pundit, and you can find us on Instagram at at The Craft Pundit, follow it twice,
Wrong.
at Upreal Lake Podcast.
You can find me on Letterboxd at Wicked Swami.
You can find me on Twitter at Franey25 and Instagram and Letterboxd at UprealAdam.
Find myself, Scott, on Letterboxd at UprealScott. As well, if you enjoy this video, leave a like on it, leave a comment below in the comment section, and of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. And as always, keep it real.